Good evening. I counted Sphere already, so I can say it's Lag Bomer. Really, a real, it's a major simcha, and hope it's, the school of Lag Bomer is so apropos for what we're going through right now. First of all, sadly, there's there's a pandemic still going around the world, and sadly, the Jewish community has suffered from it. So now we know on this day, all those years ago, the epidemic that killed 24,000 Talmid of Rabbi Akiva ended. And so Rebbe should help that also, just like Lag Bomer, all those days ago, ended the pandemic that killed the Talmidei Rabbi Akiva. So also on this day, the Rebbe should just bring an end to it. Just take it away. Just take it away. Before we get into Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, who, interestingly enough, the last word he said before he died was Chaim, life. As my Rebbe Moshe Shapiro explained, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai didn't die on this day. I mean, this is you would think it's an irony, right? This is his yahrzeit. Now we know historically is one of the 5 Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva that survived and reestablished Torah and rebuilt Torah. And yet, so many years later, according to some tradition, he died on this day. Isn't that a little bit of an irony? Not only that, Rav Chaim Vital writes in one place, he was from the Talmidim that died, meaning in the sense that he died in Lag Bomer ultimately, right? It's it's just the way Rav Chaim Vital writes it. It could sound like he died together with the 24,000, which we know from the Gemara can't be. One of the Rabbeinu Shebedorom, right? One of the 5 Talmidim that survived. But it means that, as it were, Rabbi Shimon saved, he was as it were, helped those that died. He helped them. He was like a tikkun for them. And that's why he ultimately died in Lag Bomer also, but many years later, but in an honorable way, because he was going from lower life to higher life. Like he says on his deathbed, that he's going to be saying Chidushei Torah, that he's not going begreusa. He's not going out of lowliness to that. So when people die, it's out of lowliness. Well, first of all, biologically, the body went kaput. We know spiritually also. It's called that the snake bite. What the snake did to us in Eden. Unfortunately, so most Hashem told Adam, when you eat from this tree, you're going to die. I mean, it's going to bring mortality. So it's like, as a word, the snake bite finally overcomes us ultimately. Right? Rabbi Shimon, he didn't die, begreusa, right? He didn't die because, as a word, it's called snake bite got him. It's called that his body fell apart. It's called that he went to Olam Haba, not mitoch Yerida, going down, but he went to mitoch Aliyah, right? He was going from lower life to higher life, and that's why he went up mitoch Chidushei Torah. Right, that's what he says. That's why he darshaned on his deathbed. The most amazing stuff in the Zohar, the Idra he darshaned it on his deathbed, right, to show they should go mitoch Maila to the next world. And that's why the last word he said before he left this world was Chaim. So his life, his death was life. His death was life. And it's called kind of making a big tikkun for all the other Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva that died. Right, he's life. Right, that's this day. The Maral points out Yud Ches Iyar, right? Yud Ches Iyar, the 18th of Iyar is could be read Orach, right? Iyar, the 2 Yuds is a Chaf, right? So Orach, Aleph Resh Chaf, Orach, long, Chai, long life. Right, on this day, they stopped dying. Orach Chai, and in our approach to Torah, it's called that we broke through from, as the Maral points out, Torah has a left side and a right side. The left side, it says Orach Chaim b'mina ubismola osher v'chabod. there's long life on the right side of Torah, and on the left side is honor, right, and glory. So the Maharal says like this in the Divrei Torah. We wrote about this in our Sefer reader, so please look at the Sefer reader, and you'll see a lot of good material in Lag Bomer. And go to the website, evanshasir.com, do a search for Lag Bomer, you'll see a lot of great stuff. Right, but getting back to the Maharal that we're quoting, right? On the first 32 days of the Omer is Gematria covered. It's called they're on the left side, meaning coming from left side. We're on the left side of Torah, right? We're trying to get to the Torah, and it's called they were on the Torah's left, right? Because the right side is the dominant side, so it's called they were on the less dominant side of Torah. And Torah on the left side is honor and glory, is honor and wealth. So the first 30 days, Gematria covered, and they were still on the outside. And now that apropos, because it's the time of covered Torah, they were taken to task al shelo nagu kavod zelazeh. They didn't show honor to each other. They should have honored each other as Talmidei Chachamim. They didn't give each other the proper kavod Torah. But over here on Lag Bomer, we cross to the right side of Orech Chaim Bimina, right? The long life on the right side. We get into the Torah's Chaim. Torah's an outer level, which we call the left side, right? And as an inner level that we call the right side, because the right is dominant over the left, right? And on the outside, Torah is about glory, right? But on the inside, you tap into the power of life itself, and that's the reason they stop dying. When you tap into the life of Torah, that's when you realize that we're all one, right? And you really have to literally, as Rabbi Akiva himself said, right? To love your neighbor like yourself, literally, that's a great klal in Torah. What does it mean, klal in Torah? It means you can read it that we are a klal. We are all inclusive. We're klal Yisrael b'Torah, with the power of Torah that unites us. We have to be on the inside of Torah and feel how Torah is your life, and then you see that we're all sparks of one grand neshama, and our national neshama that we all share is the Torah. And that's why the Maharal explains elsewhere that one of the reasons why one of the 48 ways to acquire Torah is no sebol chavero. You have to carry your friend's burden as if it's your own burden, right? His problem is your problem. No sebol chavero. Says the Maharal. Why? Because the Torah wasn't given to individuals, given to a nation. And so you have to build nationhood. Nationhood is to feel responsible for each other. Right? So we break through. We feel, because it all comes in tandem. Feeling responsible for each other is because of the Torah. What makes us a unique nation. We have such allegiance to each other. And allegiance to each other, even though we grew up, dispersed over the last 2,000 years. And still, Ashkenazim, Sfaradim, Hasidim, we fight a lot. One big dysfunctional family. But when we get together, like when we hear Jews are in peril, we go to rescue them, even though we never met them and they don't live even in the same country. There's a tremendous, unique unity amongst the Jewish people that there isn't in any other nation, because all the other nations, if they have whatever extent of unity we have, which is nothing compared to what there is between us, but even the little bit that they have is only if they know the guy. It's a neighbor, it's a good friend, and you live in the same country, you share the same space, and you like each other, and even after all that, it's not the same like the achdus that there is amongst Yidden. And the achdus that is amongst Yidden is because of the Torah, and that's why we all feel like we're one nation. We're geographically scattered because our nationhood and our unity comes from the Torah. And that's Ata Echad, V'Shimcha Echad, and Mikam Chaysav Goy Echad Ba'aretz. You're one, and your name one, and who's like your nation Israel, one nation. We're in a perfect unity because of Shimcha Echad, your one name. What's that one name referring to? The Torah. Because the Torah is Kulo Shemosov Shakash. The Torah is all God's names. Right? So all of Torah, its outer layer looks like just a bunch of laws, but its inner layer behind the laws, all divine names, all divine revelations. Every mitzvah is a divine revelation. But to feel that way about Torah, that it's not just laws, but it's life. It's life. First of all, those laws are more real than the laws of physics. The laws of biology, chemistry, and physics come from the laws of the Torah. Right? It's Tako Baraiso, Bar Alma. Everyone knows that famous Chazal, the Zohar. Right? The person looked into the Torah and created the world. That means really the laws of the Torah created the natural laws. The Torah is life itself. Right? Al Pi Kabbalah, the first thing that the Rebbe Shalom emanated was the Torah HaKeduma. Right? The Soda Malbush. I'm not going to get into all that. Right? But, to be real with Torah that way, that's not just laws, it's divine light and it's divine life. It's all divine names. That's what Kabbalah teaches us. That's why Lag Bomer is a day of Kabbalah, and Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, who revealed the inner secrets of the Torah. Because when you learn Kabbalah, right, you become real with the fact that Torah is divine names, Torah is divine light, Torah is life. It all goes in tandem. Right, as it were, everything that we're working on so far in the Omer gave us the type of personality and attributes that are parallel to being prepared to learn halacha in depth. From this point onwards in the Omer, we're working on the midos that make us worthy of having Kabbalah also, to having the whole picture, to being on the inside track of Torah. So that's another remiss for Lag Bomer, that it's the wall that Yaakov made between him and Lavan, Gal Eid. So the Ariya Kodesh says it's a remiss to Lag Bomer, the Gal Eid, the Gal, Lag. And it also refers to Gal Ein, I opened my eyes, I see the wonders of your Torah. What's there to see more than the letters? See, so the wonders in the Torah is you see the divine lights. That's Zohar, shine. And that's the sefer HaZohar reveals. In the Talmud Bavli, when the Gemara wants to bring a raya, it says, Ta Shma, come here. I'll explain it to you. In the Zohar, it says, Ta Chazi, come see. See. Right? I'll show it to you. Right? That it gives you a certain clarity that Torah is not theory. It's like something tangible. It's real. It's reality. Right? So let's start with a L'chaim, because it's so apropos that it's Chai Iyar, Orech Chai. The Talmidei Rabbi Akiva stopped dying on this day, right? And because they got over the hump, going over, to the Orech Chaim Bimina, right? And when you reach the level of life of Torah, right? Reach that level of life, right? Then on that level of being on the inside of Torah, you feel the divine light of Torah, and that's also you could feel totally connected to your fellow Jew. He's a citizen of Torah, you're a citizen of Torah, you share the Torah. Torah is our national neshama, right? And we all were makabel Torah, ki ish echad b'lev echad, right? Lag Bomer is getting over the hump to prepare us for that type of super unity between ourselves, and in order to accept the divine light of the Torah, not just the laws of the Torah, not just dictates, but the essential spiritual energy of the Torah, right? The divine names that are encoded in Torah, right? The divine light that's in Torah, right? We got the essence. What the Kabbalah reveals about Torah, that's what made Matan Torah special. Laws we could have had without a Matan Torah. We had commands. Matan Torah is that we got the light, the divine light of Torah, the divine names of Torah. That's what the angels wanted, that they were jealous of, right? And it's called that Torah went to earth, means the divine power of Torah went to earth. So commands could have gotten commands. Torah could stay in heaven. We could still be issued directives. Right? Torah, coming down is that we got the light of Torah, and from Lag Bomer onwards, we start feeling that connection, right? The possibility of connecting to the inner light of the Torah, Chaye HaTorah, as opposed to just the Oisher and Kavod of Torah, right? But we also connect to the Chaim of Torah. It's Torah's Chaim, right? Which gets us past the snake bite, right? Ultimately, it's the aspect of Torah that's going to be the Eitz Chaim. The Zohar's call refers to itself as the Eitz Chaim that's going to give us tikkun for the snake bite. Now, Rabbi Akiva himself had to go down. He had to go down as a kapor for Klal Yisrael, right? And because we know the nation of Rome is their ministering angel, Samach Mem, is the archangel of evil that rides on the snake. The snake is like was the Merkava, was the chariot of the archangel of evil, the Samach Mem. And that's the angel of Edom, right? So Rabbi Akiva being killed by the Roman Empire, that was the again, it's brought down from Ari. It's in the Shloah Kodesh, in Rabbi Akiva, it was fulfilled the pasuk. Hashem told the snake, "You'll get him in the heels." Right? Adam slays you by the head, but you get him in the heel. Rabbi Akiva, Akev, right? He had to go down. He took one for the team. Literally, he was a kapor for Klal Yisrael, right? That we should survive the Akev, survive up to Ikvisa the Mashiach, up to the time of the heels of Mashiach. Right? Rabbi Akiva took one for the team, right, and went down. He was in Rabbi Akiva's Akev, right? But Rabbi Akiva going down for us there protects us until Ikvisa the Mashiach, until the heels of Mashiach, till the end of time. And so Rabbi Akiva took one for the team, and Rabbi Shimon took it to another level and gave us the sefer HaZohar, right? Rabbi Shimon said he's in the Gemara again, he's trumas mi midosov to Rabbi Akiva. He is the chosen aspects of Rabbi Akiva, or he represents the best of Rabbi Akiva, right? That Rabbi Akiva laid the groundwork, and Rav Shimon Bar Yochai perfected it. Right? And gave us the sefer HaZohar, which is called the Eitz Chaim. That with sefer HaZohar, the Zohar says we will get out of the Golus in mercy. So Rabbi Akiva went down to protect us in Golus, and Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, his Talmud, gave us the koach to get out of Golus and to rise above it. Right, and that's why Rav Shimon is a tikkun for all those Talmidim who died. He's the aspect of Rabbi Akiva's, the prime example of the legacy of Rabbi Akiva that makes it through. Right? So we're gonna have a little chaim. It is so interesting. The schnapps glass that I'm using, it got rubbed out over the years. Says on it Corona. It's like it's like supposed to be like a beer bottle top, upside down beer bottle top. It says Corona, right? So Rebbe, just on this day of Orachai, just like the word Corona got erased on this schnapps glass, we're going to drink L'chaim, life. So also it should be Chaim, and the whole Corona Magefa should disappear. And on this day that it's called that we went from left to right, right? Because the first 32 days of the Omer on the left side of Torah, the Oshev Kavod land. And that's why Talmidei Rabbi Akiva were punished for Lo Nagu Kavod does that. But on this day, they passed to the right side. That's called Orech Chaim Bimina. So also, the Rebbe should, enlighten the whole world, right? To not be leftists, right? Not be on the left, not be Democrats, and move to the right. And if the world does that, the world will be zoche to not only get rid of Corona, but bring Mashiach to Kevin Herbi Ameinu. L'chaim. Chaim. Cover the panel of Kai, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, whose last word on this day was Chaim, because the Zohar is what breaks through from a world of Tov and Ra, from the Eitz Hadas Tov Ra that has death in it. It breaks through to the Eitz Chaim. It's the breakthrough. Rabbi Akiva, did everything to lay the groundwork, and Rav Shimon Bar Yochai pushed it through. Right. So cover the Tana Okai, Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. Also, you're going to learn about Kol Yisrael. So now the pasuk says, "Elisa Marom Shavisa Shevi Lekachas Matanos Ba'Adam." You went to its pasuk, and it's alluding to Matan Torah. Moshe Rabbeinu went up. The Gemara says this, in Shabbos. Right, Peches, that all the Agadatus on Matan Torah. You went up to heaven, and you took captives to bring Matanos Ba'Adam. That refers to Moshe Rabbeinu went up to heaven. The angels wanted to block him from taking the Torah. He had to debate them, and it's called that he took captives, right? And the Chachma told him that and now all the angels saw how Moshe Rabbeinu beat them. So they all gave gifts, right? They all revealed things to Moshe. They all wanted to buy in, and even the Malach HaMavis bought in, right? He also acknowledged defeat to Moshe and taught him the secret that Ketores stops Magefa. Also, so apropos, we should have discussed the Ketores to stop Magefa. Now, the interesting thing about Ketores is that, Chazal say elsewhere, Ketores has chalbana, that reicha ra, the chalbana, which doesn't smell good, right? And it's one of the 11 Yudal Samamani Ketores. So there's only 10 spheres, so the 11th represents the evil, and that's the chalbana that smells bad. And so, and from there, Chazal learn halacha, right? Chazal learn halacha that every Tanis Tzibur needs Poshei Yisrael. You have to have the sinners in it also, otherwise it's not a Tanis Tzibur. You got to bring the bad in also to convert the bad to good. There's 10 good midas, principally speaking, on the most elemental level. The details are infinite, right? But as the 11th represents the evil, you got to bring it in to convert the evil to good. Right? And that's what Chochmas HaKabbalah teaches us. How even the evils, that's what the Malchamav taught Moshe about the Ketores. This is how you stop me, right? You got to tie me in and convert me to good, right? Referring to also what the Chazal say on the famous pasuk, Tov Mod. God saw everything that he did, and it was very good. At the end of my show, what's Tov Mod? All of a sudden, it's very good. Everything else is just Tov. Tov Mod. So the Medrash says right there, Tov zu Achaim. Tov Mod za Misa. Good is life. Very good is death. Right? Tov is, Gan Eden. Tov Ma'od is Gehenna. What makes things very good are all the bad things. Because good is good. When the bad gets converted to good and gets added on top of what's good already, then it's very good. And that's ma'od, very, is the same letters as Adam. Adam. And that's what it means in the pasuk. Lakachas matanos ba'Adam. Right? They all gave them gifts to man, because they understood that since Adam is getting the Torah, the Adam will have the power to unite everything and make things that are good, very good, which involves also bringing in the Malach HaMavis and converting him to good also, right? Because at the end of time, we're not just going to escape the Eitz Hadas. We're going to convert the Eitz Hadas. The Beis Yaakov of Ishbitza says, we can read the pasuk, we can break up the pasuk, we eat the good of the Eitz Hadas, and the evil we don't eat. In the sense that what makes it really, really evil will cease to exist, but the Eitz Hadas itself will get incorporated. Right? And this is what Chochmas HaKabbalah teaches us, how everything is Kol Ma'idon Shma'al L'Tav, and everything is Bashgacha Pratis and Eino Milvado, and Kabbalah explains it. It explains how there's only one good God, and even the bad things are in service of the good and will ultimately be incorporated in the good, which is our mission. The Adam makes Tov Ma'od. Adam. L'kachas matanos ba'Adam. But the point of saying this is that the Ramchal writes in his Adir Bamoram regarding the first part of this pasuk, at least from Shavisa Shevi, right? You took captive. That's what he bested Malachim. Shevi is Oisius Shimon Bar Yochai. Right? That when Moshe Rabbeinu bested and proved, right, that Torah should be by the people, because we could do more with the Torah than you guys can, right? Because we can make this tikkun of making the evil good. We could do that. You guys can't do that. You guys are only good. And an angel that encounters evil can't handle it, right? We know there was these famous two angels, the Nephilim, Azza and Azael, hence Azazel, that took up the challenge, took on a corporeal form, and they couldn't handle the Yetzirah. They don't know how to conquer the Yetzirah. That's what Moshe Rabbeinu, in essence, his argument to them was, you guys don't have a Yetzirah. You guys don't have the bad midas that we have. Meaning to say, we're the ones who are going to convert the evil into good. We're going to make that tikkun. You guys can't make the tikkun of converting evil to good. And that's when the Malach HaMavet says, it's Adam who's going to save me. Right? Adam is going to save me. And he revealed the secret of Ketoros, which is about the evil being mitzaref l'toiva, right? Right. That's what sweetens the dinner, right? And that's all called Shimon Bar Yochai, Shevi, took captive. Shimon Bar Yochai, right? That because Shimon Bar Yochai, as it were, gives us this Torah that explains how to convert the Ra into Tov, and to understand that there aren't two domains, Ra versus Tov. The Tov is not Ra, and the Ra is not Tov. There's one domain, there's Hashem, and therefore the Ra can be conquered, and can be elevated, and can be incorporated. Right? It's not a whole separate universe. It's not a separate God, God forbid. And Kabbalah teaches us how to see things that way and how to understand things that way for those who are worthy, right? Of how the evil can be conquered and it could be incorporated. That's called to take captives. We take the evil captive. And that's what the schutz of Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. Yeah. So another thing is another remiss to Lag Bomer is, as from the famous Bnei Yissaschar, that everyone knows that we know the 49 days of the Omer encompass all the good midas. So it's Gematria Leiv Tov, like Rav Elazar ben Aruch said in the Mishnah in Avos, when Rav Yochanan ben Zakkai said, what's a good midah that a person should want to incorporate? And Rav Elazar ben Aruch said Leiv Tov, a good heart, a good orientation. As Rav Yochanan ben Zakkai said, I prefer only Divrei Torah. I prefer what he said over what you guys said, because his includes all of yours. Leiv Tov includes all the good midas. If you have a good heart, meaning your general orientation is good, you will eventually acquire every single good midah. And that's why 49 is Gematria Leiv Tov. So the Bnei Yissaschar points out, right? The first 32 days of the Omer Gematria Leiv. On Lag Bomer, we start the second part of the formula called Tov. Right? We have a complete heart, but now we're making the heart good. Now, Tov, first time we find it in the Torah is by the creation of light. So Rashi right there on that pasuk brings the famous Chazal. God saw the light's good. He saw it so good that the evil should not be worthy of that light. So he hid it. And Rashi, for the future. So, but the Rashi didn't finish the Medrash. The Medrash goes on to say, but Heichon Gonzo, where's that light hidden? But Torah. It's hidden within the Torah. Right? So that wondrous light, right? It's hidden in the Torah, and it will be revealed in the future. That's the Or Chodesh Al Tzion Toyer, the new light that we pray for. The new light that should shine on Zion, that we just mention every day in Brachos B'Shba. Right? The new light, right? It's new in the sense that its revelation is new, but right now it's there already. It's the Or HaGonos, hidden light. Where it's hidden in Torah, and that's why Torah is called Oraisa, or Kiner Mitzvah V'Torah Or, and that's what Sefer HaZohar is. Sefer HaZohar, the book of light, the book of splendor. The Zohar, and Kabbalah reveals the Or HaTorah, right? The divine light that's encoded in Torah. So from Lag Bomer onwards, we're feeling, we're preparing for Torah. From this point onwards, we start feeling worthy, working on the midas to enable ourselves. We feel the potential to get not just the laws of the Torah, but to get the or that's gonus in Torah, which Rav Shimon Bar Yochai reveals. Right? We're hitting that second phase of the Omer, right? That be prepared for the or kitov in Torah. I heard from my Rebbe, Moshe Shapiro. Yeah, I don't think listen to this very carefully, because a lot of stuff that I said you'll find in the Sefer reader. I'm about to tell you something that I'm pretty sure you won't see there. Right? My Rebbe, Moshe Shapiro, Zecher Tzadik V'Kodesh Livracha, told us an amazing story. Like I said, I don't believe this is in the reader, so please listen to this very carefully. All right, but do look at the Sefer reader that's downloadable at the website. There's a chapter 5, is a long piece on Lag Bomer. I have to re-edit it, for when I put it out in book form. But there's a lot there. But here's something that's not there, to the best of my memory. And it was like this, that he told us in Shir that as a young man he was reading HaZohar. That was the Mizrahi paper. He told us in Shir, somewhat quasi-apologetically, that the newspaper used to be much better and have much more content. He was a young man. So a man took out a ad, in the classifieds. It's like a big box, in the classifieds, and had the heading Hashavas Aveda, right? Looking to restore a lost object. All right, that was the heading. All right, so he looks at the article, the advert, expecting a guy should describe either what he found that he wants to return or something, or the person who lost it. And he goes on to say, over there in that classified, the person took out a really large box, and he tells his story that he was by the Rogachover in Dvinsk, right, on a Lag Bomer. So he walked into the Rogachover and he said, listen, Rebbe, today's Lag Bomer, what's the inyan of Lag Bomer? Right? So the Rogachover opened up a Yerushalmi, and from the Yerushalmi he proved, what's written there, it wasn't obvious. You had to think about it, but he showed that if you think about what this Yerushalmi is saying, the Aliyah L'Regel for Shavuos started on Lag Bomer. Right? Proof from Yerushalmi that when people started the Aliyah L'Regel for Shavuos, it started, people embarked on that journey on Lag Bomer. Presumably the people who lived in the land of Israel. A person coming from Chutzpah would have to set out whenever it takes, however long it takes. So he says, that's in of Lag Bomer. You start feeling your kesher to Shavuos. Right? Which is everything we say. Once you start feeling your kesher to the inner parts of Torah, there's no feeling connected to Shavuos more than that. Because that's why a Matan Torah was necessary. Just to get laws, the Torah could stay in heaven. It was to give us the etzem power of Torah. So people start feeling their kesher to Torah so much that they start embarking, traveling to Yerushalayim for Shavuos. It means you start feeling you're connected to Shavuos in a real way, because you get on the wagon and go, right? That started in Lag Bomer. That's what we should start feeling, the tremendous landmark that we're crossing on this holy night, this holy day. I feel like, and that's what we make. You might ask, so why make a big deal out of this day, right? We should. Lamed Dalet Bomer should be even bigger, and Lamed Hey Bomer should be even bigger because we're even closer to us. No, today's the big breakthrough. Right? It's just breaking through to another level. It's the geschmack of a big breakthrough. It's like until now we're like banging our heads against a wall. The Torah just seems so far away that we feel close. We can actually feel the closeness. We said by Pesach Sheni we get close, but you're close geographically, but you're still behind the wall. We break the wall on this day. Even though there's still distance to go, we're on the inside track. It's such a geschmack of the transition from out to in, the transition from left to right. The Rebbe should help all the Democrats to do tshuva and join the Republican Party. Right? Stop being roidif to great President Trump, who's done so much for Am Yisrael, Eretz Yisrael, and for religious liberty. Right? Should give Zchus Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, zchutto yagin Aleinu, Val Donald Trump, and on the whole world. Lag Bomer is the big breakthrough. You get over the wall. The gal ein aiva biti fos, just like you get over the wall. And you leave Lavan and Mitzrayim behind you. But on the other hand, you're on the same side of things as the Torah. Right? So Lag Bomer is a big deal because it's the geschmack of breakthrough. Because even though, every day after Lag Bomer, you're even closer to Torah, even closer. But this is the geschmack. And that's what you feel like a tremendous sense of like, we jumped to another level. We like broke through. That's what's a big deal of Lag Bomer, more than the days of the Omer that follow it, even though technically you're closer to Torah, but today's a special gishmak. And that's what we have to try to internalize. We have to really try to feel, seek to feel, not just closer. That was Pesach Sheni. Like to feel like we're on the inside track, right? On the same side of things. There's no walls. That's what it is. There may still be distance, but there's no walls anymore. We got over the wall. We should build the wall, to keep the people out that don't belong. Build the wall. And I'm not kidding. I know. So I totally feel for our president, who's really he's busting his chops to really help us through this crisis, and the media just attacks him right, left, and center. Horrible people, right? But the idea of build the wall. We mentioned the snake, right? We mentioned how the Zohar, is the Eitz HaChaim that gets us above the Chet Eitz Hadas. Going to get us out of this Golus Edom, which is the Golus of the nation that is the nation of the snake, Edom, right? We mentioned that. So here's interesting. By the way, I didn't prepare any of this. This is all off the cuff, so you forgive me if it's going in crazy political directions. This is all impromptu. And by the way, you could flash me a question on the screen and I'll respond to it. Right? Don't be bashful. Flash a question on the screen and we'll deal with it. But the Medicine Koheles, I believe it is, says, they asked the Nachash Lama Tamatsui Ben Agderos. Why do you live? It seems that snakes are to be found under fences. So he says, Ani Paratzti Gidrosho, because I broke the great cosmic barrier. Because evil, before the snake got us to eat from the Eitz Hadas, right? So evil was just an abstract idea. The tree represented the potential for evil, but evil didn't have an actual existence. So it was outside of reality. Good was in and evil was out. And he said, by getting Adam to eat that fruit, take it in him, I broke the wall. And evil penetrated reality and became manifest inside of us and everywhere else. Even Arura Adama Bavracha, even the earth was a curse because of Chet Adam Rishon, right? That's the real reason for climate change, right? It's Chet Eitz Hadas. It's not our gas emissions. Right, but I won't talk about that right now. Right? What's wrong with the world that makes the world, imperfect is, the fact that the wall was broken. And now Matan Torah, so the Medrash says in Shir Hashirim on the pasuk, Ani Choma, the Shar goes, I am a wall, and my breasts are like towers. Ani Choma Zu Torah, right? I am a wall. That's Torah. Torah is a wall, right? Right, and the Sharai Kamigdalos are the Rabbanan who teach the Torah, right? But the Torah is a wall, and Chazal say, he has to say solid things, like a wall, solid, like a wall, right? Because the Torah, which is from the Eitz HaChaim, Kabbalah in particular, but even Halacha, without getting into all the, this look up in the Reader, chapter 5 in the Sphere Reader. You could download from evanshasir.com, Sphere Reader. And you'll also hear audios on the website that will explain this more. Halacha is like the Eitz Chaim hiding within the Eitz Das, because halacha addresses how to deal with evil, which came into the world by the Eitz Das. How to, the temptations we need to fight, what's not kosher, what to do if a person, God forbid, commits a crime. So halacha is the Eitz Chaim addressing a world of Eitz Das Tovara. Kabbalah is just pure Eitz Chaim, just talking about pure divine light, pure divine names, right? All right. So, but the Torah, the Torah, even the halacha part of it, because it's a countermeasure. Halacha is a countermeasure to a world that's been infiltrated by evil, right? So the Torah is to restore the wall, and that's what the walls of Yerushalayim represent, right? Sharei Yerushalayim in Tanakh, Chazal always darshan by Sharei Yerushalayim, the walls of Yerushalayim. They are a living metaphor for Torah. It's a certain like almost Raglein Visharach Yerushalayim. Our legs stood in your gates, Yerushalayim. Nigrom Raglein Shiamdu B'Milchama Sharei Yerushalayim Shiloskim B'Torah. Who caused our legs to be able to stand in war? Sharei Yerushalayim. They were Isaac in Torah. Sharei Yerushalayim. Right, those great walls around Yerushalayim are a representation of the cosmic wall, which is Torah. Torah is coming to build the wall, right? Except that before Lag Bomer, we are just on the outside, just like the rest of the world, on the outside, and Torah is on the inside. Lag Bomer, we're over the wall. We should keep the wall there. It's a breakthrough for us, right? But we leave the wall there to leave Mitzrayim and Lavan and illegal immigrants out, behind us, and they should not penetrate and not be Machal the Kodesh, right? Which, by the way, that's the Inyan, that Chazal put a great deal of emphasis, I see great that the Yevonim, by Hanukkah, breached the walls of Yerushalayim, and it made it into the most surah. Far too chomos migdolai, and that's a play on, and the most surah is a play on that pasuk in Shir that we quoted. Right, ani choma v'shadai k'migdolos. I am a wall. Far too chomos migdolai. Ani choma v'shadai k'migdolos. It's a play on the words of the Shir Hashirim, right? Because the Greeks they broke the wall literally and figuratively, which, by the way, that's what the Mishnah says in Midos. Every breach that the Yevonim made, that Chazal, Chashmonaim sealed up, you have to bow when you face that breach, because they wanted to bring the Tumen Yavazor in. They wanted to break into the space of the Beis HaMikdash, space of Kedusha, the space of Torah, and defile it. They were trying to redo what the snake did all those years ago to break the cosmic wall, because the walls of Yerushalayim and the wall, which are the original Yerushalayim, is the Beis HaMikdash. That's the real Yerushalayim. Those walls represent the cosmic walls. They wanted to breach those walls. The Chashmonaim, right, who were Kohanim, which is the Midah of Hod, right, which is the Midah of Aaron HaKohen, which is this week. The week of Lag Bomer is the week of Hod, of Aaron. So Aaron's descendants, which are from the Midah of Hod, right, they rebuilt the walls. They reinstated the walls. So Lag Bomer and Hanukkah, right, all for the Midah of Hod, right, which is to Hod is the splendor that shines out and confronts the outside world. It shines out and confronts the outside world, right? All right, so so these are all reflections, to share on this Lag Bomer. This is I'm one. Last year I was in Miron. In Lag Bomer, and when I lived in Eretz Yisrael for 22 years straight, and most years, a lot of years, most, but many years, whenever Lag Bomer came out in the middle of the week, like it did this year, I used to go up to Miron. You have 2 days to do it. When Lag Bomer used to come out on a Sunday, Motzei Shabbos, I didn't go. It was just, I did it once or twice, just very hard. Because you first embark when it's Lag Bomer already, and then the traffic is hell, and if the way I used to do it was when Lag Bomer came out, so it was Tuesday, I would go up on Monday already. Monday early before, try to beat the rush. And sometimes I was there already by the lighting. It's a lot easier that way. Go up on Erev Lag Bomer, because the traffic and how tight it is just gets exponentially more and more and more, as the day goes on. So Miron is a very special experience, just not from Olam Hazeh, really. And sadly, most of Klal Yisrael has denied it this year. So we have to do tshuva. We have to do tshuva to, really want it. If we want to, we should give it back to us. We have a lot of cheshbon nefesh to do, because really the Omer is of great significance to us this year, because, Baruch Hashem, we don't have 24,000 of ours that died, but unfortunately we lost a lot of good Jews. Every Jew is a terrible loss. And so we really have to do tshuva shlema, mitoch simcha, tshuva me'ahava, because that's what tshuva me'ahava is. You're doing tshuva because you want closeness to Hashem, not because you're afraid of punishment. Do tshuva me'ahava, right, on this day, right, to, want the closeness. That Lag Bomer is a stepping stone for it. It is the portal to being on the inside track of Torah, the portal to the intimacy track. Right? Before Lag Bomer, Torah is just orders. We only have the potential to receive Torah as orders. From Lag Bomer onwards, we're ready to receive Torah as light and life, right? And to be on the inside track and see the Torah as divine names and divine power that Hashem gave us, right? Not just dictates, right? So you have to want that. That's what tshuva me'ahava is. You want to go back to Hashem because you love Him and you want to be close to Him. It happens to be one more thing, and then we'll call it a night unless there are any questions. Right? Is that if you want to be zoche to avas Hashem, loving Hashem. So where's the Rambam writing? Learn the secrets of Torah. And he writes it again at the end of Hilchos Tshuva. It's because he talks about doing tshuva me'ahava. Just do everything out of love. Tshuva out of love and serve Hashem out of love. Right? He says, how will you want to be zoche to avas Hashem? He says, learn the secrets of Torah. Learn these deep ideas that we spoke about in the first 4 chapters of Hilchos Torah. Right? The secrets of Torah make you see the wondrous wisdom of the Torah. How you can't help but love God, right? So when you learn Kabbalah, when you're ready, so it's not just you're fulfilling your mitzvah of Talmud Torah, you're also being Mekayim Avas Hashem. Avas Hashem is Barach. And that's what we have to do on this day. We should feel tremendous love, tremendous simcha, and we talk that do tshuva me'ahava. We want to get back to Hashem. So Baruch Hashem, take away the corona so we can be even closer to you. Right from this day onwards, the Talmidei Rebbe Akiva felt achdus because they penetrated to the inner track of Torah, and then Torah makes you feel how we're all sparks of the same national neshama, which is our Torah. That's where you penetrate on the inside of Torah. Right, so we want to all get back together. Ki ish echad b'lev echad in the Bate Knesias and Bate Midrashos. You have to want it that bad. You have to want it that bad. The Rebbe should answer us and tell us, so to tap into the koach of the day and the simcha of the day, and to hishtokakus, give a yearning, right? And that yearning will be maybe the merit that we need to end the corona madness and get back together. Like I said many times in this forum, right? I think the Rebbe Shalom, dispersed society as a tikkun, that society should reopen on a higher level. Reopen on a higher level. And I said, the Rambam says there's 3 types of friendship. There's chaver l'tanak. You hang out because you like his company, right? Or you use him, right? You hang out with someone le'ezer, to help. A higher level. But there's chaver l'davar nala, right? To be friends for the sake of doing great things together. And that was the achdus. We were like literally like one person with one heart when we were connected a heart. We had a common goal of receiving the Torah. So I think we have to rediscover our social circles, as chaverim l'davar na'ala, right? That we want to get back together. We want enough of this social distancing. We want to get rid of it, and we certainly want to get rid of the Magefa. That we should kihem chayenu v'orech yamenu. So we should live lives of Torah. And we should be ki'ish echad b'leiv echad las v'yasu kulam aguda achas las os ritzoncha b'leiv avshalem. Right, just to do your will. So that's why we want to live, because we want a life of Torah and mitzvahs. This is what we got on Shavuos. That's why we want to live, and we want to get together, because only as a tzibur we could accomplish more of doing your will and revealing you in the world than if we're left onto by our own devices. All right, these are all off-the-cuff reflections, inspired by the day, and a little bit of scotch also. I'm going to now open the floor and see if anyone in the room wants to throw out a question. And if not, we can call it a night, even though, how long can a man just continue to, talk to himself? Even though it's our hour's almost up. Anyone in the room want to say anything? Anyone in the room want to ask anything or contribute anything? I'll give you as long as it takes to pour and drink this l'chaim. Covered Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. Zchutto Yagin Aleinu v'al Yisrael l'chaim. Okay. All right. Last call. Anyone want to say anything? Don't be bashful. I don't see you. I'm sure your screen name is a pseudonym. So go ahead. Otherwise, there's much work to do. Right? Okay, so I guess we will call it a night. So we should help. We should feel the big break of Lag Bomer, the big breakthrough. Go to the website evangelia.com and download all the great stuff we have on Lag Bomer, and particularly the Sphere Reader, and subscribe to this channel. Because sometimes I get the inspiration, and I schedule a shear, and I don't even schedule. I just get online, and I don't even schedule in advance. And if you're subscribed, you'll get notifications. So subscribe to the channel, and please don't be stingy. Give me a like. Okay, Lag Bomer, right? We should feel our, like the big day, feel our big break. The big break and feeling close to Torah. We should feel the big breakthrough, and Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, right? You should be Yemliץ Yosher, بعדינו, אדוננו bar Yochai.